Hello again, and welcome back to the composition vlog. It's been about a month again since I last filmed, and in the past month the focus has really been on Bastard Assignment's work. We had 2 gigs last week, and so a lot of my time's been spent preparing quiet songs for those gigs, as well as learning some new pieces by the guys, and yeah, just a lot of violaing really. My viola got to be a chainsaw and a creaky boat, and that was a lot of fun, working on both of those. Yeah. So with quiet songs, I mentioned last time I hadn't really looked at it, and that this was probably a foolish thing, and it probably was a foolish thing, yes. But it was an interesting experience getting back into it, and sort of getting to know it again and seeing which bits had stuck and which bits had just drifted off somewhere and I couldn't quite remember how I'd done them. Most of it was still in there, so that was nice. It didn't take terribly long to get it back up and running, from listening to recordings and seeing my notes, and so forth. The bits that hadn't really stuck were actually the bits that I felt were the least strong in the piece, and I did end up making a change to the central section where I switched from viola to voice to viola to voice to back to viola again, because I'd felt that was quite sort of choppy and bitty, and it wasn't really convincing me. And I think that's why I'd been a bit vague about sort of the timings of it and what I was doing and all the rest of, doubt, basically. Yeah, so I've refined that central section. The material's all the same, but sort of the way I get from one to another and how it all goes together has changed. And so I've taken out the back and forth, back and forth. So now there's just one vocal section that's a bit longer and sort of encompasses both of the styles of vocalization that I had in the original. this change happened quite late in the day, and there wasn't a whole lot of practice time between making that change and actually doing the performances, so I was kind of winging it a bit. And I think it came off okay, but it might not be terribly clear, I think, in the video. And so the idea is that because the first sound that I make with my voice live, it draws on a sound that's in the soundtrack, which is me going. And the idea is that that sound, I'll start with that sound, but open it up into a more of a performance sort of mode, a much more open sound like you would use if you were singing in a concert. But the idea is that the face stays the same. And so what I've done is to sort of take the face further back. So I start making the face before I put the viola down, hold that face as I turn, and then start making the sound still with that face, and then open it up still with the face. And then as I bring the viola back up, I switch to the other vocalization sound, which is a sort of a collection of miscellaneous sounds on a single pitch. That kind of thing, which relates directly to the sounds I have been making on the viola. And so the idea is I keep going with that while I've pulled up the viola and I've started making those sounds on the viola, and so the two of them kind of blend together. The way Tim described this, he gave me some really helpful feedback on this section, it's like I'm talking to the viola, which I quite liked, because there's a certain amount, I think there's a certain element in the whole piece of performer identification with their instrument, which for me is of course viola and voice in this, and so I think it's entirely apt that they talk to one another. So I was much more pleased, I think, with how this works, and hopefully I'll get a chance to refine that a bit further and get it a bit more solid, and perhaps do this again somewhere, sometime. Got nothing planned for it yet. So I don't know when that might be, but maybe it'll come out of hibernation and be a bit better at some point. Now that I've revived this piece, I am going to go in and do the score properly for it. I've got some ideas on how to do that. I just need to tinker with them now. But it's going to be a bit of a challenge, and I think the risk of procrastination on this one is high. So I do need to just get cracking on it. I think I'm much happier with the lighting that we had in this gig. Both this one and Aldeburgh used side lighting so as to avoid bouncing light off the screen and dimming the video. But for this one I think we had much more light on my face, and I felt that it was much clearer that it was sort of me and that I was also the person in the video. But again, can't be sure, still haven't seen the Snape video, although apparently we're going to get that soon. But I haven't let the Britten Variations completely languish. You will be delighted to hear, I'm sure that's just made your day. I was really pleased with the coda, as you could probably tell last time, and I was sort of thinking about that and the tone colours used in that, and the effect of that on the underlying material, and that in connection to the erasure technique I mentioned last time that I was using in the revised score for that. And so it's got me back to thinking more about tone colour use in the rest of the piece as a way of kind of almost erasing Britten's world a bit and making it a bit more like mine. So yeah, I mean, there's been plenty of manipulation done to the original material. I've tweaked the pictures and I've cut things up and pasted them and put them all out of context. But I think there's another layer of work that can be done here with tone colour. So Amy sent me a message to say that she had a little bit of time to sort of work on stuff if I had any stuff for her to tinker with. So I sent her an email with some suggestions of tone colour changes that she could play around with. So that's where that's up to now. I'm just waiting for her to get back to me with some recordings for that. And I'm really looking forward to getting back to doing some more on Britain in the next couple of weeks, and hopefully sort of finishing off another movement, perhaps. That would be really nice. And the final thing is that in the past month I've started talking to flautist Jenny Hogan again about working on another collaboration with her. We last worked together a few years back when we made Fortune Favours the Brave, and we both really enjoyed working together. She's an amazing flautist and just really so great, and a lovely, lovely person. So we've got a meeting set up for the end of this month to have a really long chat about what we want to do and how we're going to go about this. And I'm really looking forward to that. I'm very, very excited. So that's it for this time. Thank you very much for watching. As always, if you've got any comments or questions, please leave them below. And I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks. Bye.